You're standing in front of a truck, clean one. Owner says it's been good to him, and looking at it, you believe him. The listing says 5.3 V8, and that tells you almost nothing. So let me save you the wait. If I were shopping tomorrow with my own money, the 4.8 is the engine I'd start with, because it's the one GM never put cylinder deactivation in. That's the answer. Now here's what to do with it, because the engine narrows your list. It doesn't finish the job. A neglected 4.8 with a rotted frame is a worse buy than a well-kept 5.3 with a folder of receipts. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly where the engine matters and where it stops mattering. We'll cover which 5.3s belong right beside the 4.8, why the badge and the model year both mislead you, and the 3-character code that settles the engine question in 30 seconds. First, what you're avoiding. Cylinder deactivation. Active fuel management on the older trucks, dynamic fuel management on the newer ones. When you're cruising and not asking much, the computer shuts down half your cylinders. 8 becomes 4. It does that with specialized lifters, the parts riding on the camshaft that open your valves. They collapse on command so those valves stay shut. When one doesn't come back the way it should, the damage doesn't always stop at the lifter. It can involve the camshaft. And once that happens, you're not doing a lifter job anymore. That's why it matters to a buyer. Not because these engines are guaranteed to fail, they aren't. Because you're choosing between two trucks and one carries a layer of complexity the other doesn't. So, the 4.8. It never got the system. Not in the GMT 800 trucks, not in the GMT 900s. Otherwise, it's the 5.3's family. Same architecture, same iron block, built alongside it, just smaller. Parts on every shelf in America. Every independent shop knows it cold. I've called it the underdog on this channel before. Nobody bragged about a 4.8. For a used buyer today, that works in your favor. Nobody chased it, nobody optioned it up, and GM never put the complicated part in it. The honest trade is power. If you tow anything meaningful or haul weight regularly, you'll feel that every time you load it. So the 4.8 suits a daily driver, a light-duty owner, a man who'd rather have fewer things to go wrong than the strongest engine on the lot. If you pull a camper every summer, keep listening. This isn't your engine. And one thing to be clear on before we move, avoiding AFM removes one known complexity. It doesn't make a truck good. A 4.8 can still have oil pressure problems, cooling neglect, a tired transmission, or a previous owner who ran it hard. You're removing a risk, not buying a guarantee. Now if you're shopping 5.3s, and most of you are, some of those engines belong right next to the 4.8. The 5.3 came in a lot of variations across these years, and there are several engine codes involved. But there's a broad split worth understanding. The earlier Gen 3 family, the LM7 is the one people talk about, came before cylinder deactivation existed. Cast iron block, port injection. That's the era your buddy means when he says his 5.3 went 400,000 miles. The later Gen 4 family is where AFM shows up on many of them. Same displacement, same badge on your fender. The change tracks roughly with the newer body style arriving for 2007. Use that as a clue that tells you where to look, not as proof of what's in front of you. So an early 5.3 in good condition is a strong candidate. The simplicity, plus the power the 4.8 gives up. But it doesn't win automatically. A tired LM7 with 280,000 hard miles and no records isn't the smarter buy, just because of what family it came from. The engine narrows your list. Condition decides it. Now picture a specific truck. A 2010, one owner, AFM 5.3, 140,000 miles, and a stack of oil change receipts going back a decade. Runs quiet warm, no lights, no codes, priced fairly. Is that a bad buy because of the engine? No, that's a good truck. And a man who walks away from it to chase a 4.8 with no history is making a worse decision, not a better one. What changes the answer is the absence of that information. No records, a tick nobody can explain, a seller who doesn't know what's been done. Now the complexity matters a great deal, and it should show up in what you offer. And to those of you already driving an AFM truck, because a lot of you are, you didn't buy wrong. These are good trucks, and yours may run another 150,000 miles without trouble. Plenty do. Keep the oil at the right level and specification, and on schedule. That valve train leans on it. That reduces risk. It doesn't eliminate it, and a well-maintained engine can still develop a fault. That's not a failure on your part. If a tick shows up, get it identified rather than assumed. A cold tick that fades with warm-up often points toward an exhaust manifold leak. One that persists warm, especially with a misfire code, points more toward the valve train. That's a pattern to guide an inspection, not a diagnosis. Other things make similar noises, and testing confirms it. Getting on it early can improve your chances of limiting further damage. It doesn't guarantee a small repair. Back to the lot, because everything so far comes down to one question you have to actually answer. Which engine is in the truck in front of you? The badge won't tell you. The listing won't. The model year gets you close and stops, and the seller often genuinely doesn't know. Most people never had reason to learn it. Here's how you find out without knowing a thing about engines. Open the glove box. Inside the door there's a sticker with a list of 3-character codes. That's the RPO list, the options the truck was built with. One of them is the engine. Look it up before money changes hands, not after. What it tells you should affect what you offer. Sometimes that sticker's gone or unreadable. 20 years of sun does that. Then the VIN gets you there. A dealer pulls build data in a few minutes, and there are services that'll do it for a few dollars. If a seller's unsure, offer to look it up together. Most won't mind. But if a man won't let you open a glove box on a truck he's asking you to buy, walk. Same code answers the 6.0, by the way. Earlier LQ4 and LQ9 didn't have the system. Later 6.0s did. I'm not handing you another year chart, because the sticker settles it on every engine we've discussed. Now here's the part people skip, and it's where the real money gets lost. That code tells you what engine is in the truck. It does not tell you whether to buy it. That comes from the frame and the rust, how the transmission behaves cold and warm, oil pressure, the cooling system, records, or the absence of them, warning lights and stored codes, modifications nobody mentioned, whether it worked for a living. So the order matters. Find the best maintained trucks first, then use the engine code to separate two that are otherwise close, not the other way around. Where that leaves you. Want simplicity and don't tow much. The 4.8 in good condition. Want that simplicity with real power. An earlier Gen 3 5.3 in good condition. Looking at a later truck, verify the engine, verify the history, price it accordingly. Tow regularly. The bigger engines, and the 4.8 comes off your list no matter how much you like simple. Condition first, every time. A clean history and a solid frame beat a preferred badge. You're not buying a model year. You're not buying a badge on a fender. You're buying the exact engine, the transmission, the frame, the maintenance history, and the condition of one specific truck. And now you know how to find out what all of it is before you hand anybody money. Tell me in the comments what you're running. Your year, your engine code if you know it, your mileage. And if you've got an AFM truck that's been solid, say so. The men shopping right now deserve the whole picture, not just the horror stories. If your Silverado's still earning its keep, hit subscribe.